Good evening, Cleveland and Columbus sports fans. This is Jen B, and you're tuned in live to the show of the land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Tonight, we are going to talk about what happened in Denver. Who's in, who's out, who's hurt, who's not. What roster changes have the Browns made this week? And more, maybe. There's not really much more. But who's going to be our quarterback now? Yikes. We will talk about some college football, the disaster that happened up north. We will talk about some crew playoffs. Gotta throw the positive in there, right? Then we will talk some basketball with the Cavs and the Charge and some college basketball. And then we'll move on to some hockey with the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Cleveland Monsters. And we'll finish things out with the Cleveland Guardians. So, let's get started with those Browns. Yikes. Before we get started, shout out to Taryn Rodriguez in the chat, who is the host of our Set Point show for everything you want to know about volleyball, and also the SoCal Supreme Sports show for everything you want to know about Southern California sports. And he says the Browns are partially in QB hell, but they can't go back to PJ Walker. God, I hope not. I hope not. I don't know what they're going to do. We'll see what happens with DTR this week, how he progresses, but I don't know that Joe Flacco's ready to go either. He's only been with the team a week, so yikes. We'll see. We will see. But some roster moves that have been made over the past week. Linebacker Jordan Kanasic was activated from the IR. The Browns signed Duron Harmon, who is a safety, to the practice squad. They also signed running back John Kelly Jr. again to the practice squad. And they released Kenyon Drake, also a running back, from the practice squad. And they waived cornerback Thomas Graham Jr. from IR. He was hurt early in the season. It was either the Bengals game or the Pittsburgh game. I don't remember which one, but he got hurt and was placed on IR, and apparently he's not coming back. Joe Flacco is going to be wearing number 15. So that's a new one for the Browns, I think. Perhaps Josh Dobbs wore 15, but I don't recall because he never actually played in a game for the Browns. So I don't remember what number he was wearing. It may have been 15. But anywho, Denzel Ward is the first and only player since these stats have been recorded to record at least 10 passes defensed and 2 interceptions in each of his first 6 seasons. So way to go, Denzel Ward. Joel Bitonio is the Browns nominee for the 2023 Art Rooney Sportsmanship Award, as well he should be. He's been here forever, and he does lots of great things in the community. And as we know, the Browns played the Broncos on Sunday, and they lost 29-12. I can honestly say I have no clue how the Broncos got to 29 because I did turn off the game. It was that bad. Anyway, safety Tanner McAllister and cornerback AJ Green were activated from the practice squad for the game. Denzel Ward and Anthony Walker were out. The play calling seemed to be geared to get DTR into some sort of rhythm or help improve his level of comfort or confidence in the passing game. I'm not really sure. But it was also to account for the Denver defense making adjustments based on the way that the Browns played against the Steelers with the short passes and using the running game. So Denver did play with pretty stacked boxes, so that was part of the reason for less running, which a lot of people are complaining about and have been complaining about since Sunday. I'm kind of tired of seeing the complaining, but it is what it is. But anyway, um they maybe should have run more, but the running game wasn't overly successful. They did have a couple of solid, decent runs, but a lot of the runs were stopped at or behind the line of scrimmage or just beyond. There were a couple of like half yard, 1 yard gains. Drops continued to plague the wide receivers, especially while DTR was in the game. There were 5 fumbles by the Browns, 3 of them lost. Not a good way to play. Too many turnovers. Too many turnovers. Not good, not good. The defense was really missing Ward and Walker, though JOK did have a career game. He forced a fumble that was recovered by Alex Wright. Myles Garrett was an obvious discomfort in the second half, though he did end up finishing the game. He was in and out a lot, and you could tell that there was definitely something going on with his left arm. During the game, the sideline reporter said it was his wrist, but after the game, it turned out it was his shoulder. DTR left with a concussion. Amari Cooper left with a rib injury, and Jordan Elliott left with an ankle injury. Before leaving with that rib injury, Amari Cooper did hit 9,000 career receiving yards. DTR did get his first NFL touchdown pass, and it was to Harrison Bryant. After the game, Myles Garrett was in a sling and said he felt something pop in his left shoulder. He did go for an MRI, and per Stefanski, there was no structural damage, and he is day-to-day. Amari Cooper had x-rays, which were negative. He is also day-to-day with a rib injury, and Jordan Elliott is day-to-day with an ankle sprain. The Browns are in LA this week. They opted not to come back to Cleveland after the Broncos game. They instead flew out to LA and will be practicing at UCLA this week to prepare for the game on Sunday against the Rams. No decision has been made at quarterback yet. It depends on how DTR progresses through concussion protocol this week. No word on if Joe Flacco will be elevated from the practice squad or signed to the active roster as of yet. We shall see what happens. As of right now, the depth chart shows DTR as QB1 and PJ Walker is QB2, with DTR in parentheses because he is injured. So we'll see what happens with that. I honestly don't even know what I prefer because Joe Flacco's only been with the team for a week. PJ Walker is awful. And I don't know what DTR is going to look like after that hit. Hopefully he's not scared out of his mind, but it was a pretty nasty hit and he was pretty banged up. There was blood coming out of his mouth, and obviously he has a concussion as well. So we'll see. We will see what happens at quarterback. I would like to think that given the amount of experience that Joe Flacco has, he could be ready to go. But I don't know. And I don't know how well he'll play. I mean, he's not young. So the offensive line has got to play better. That's for sure. I don't know what is happening with them. On another hand, speaking of the offensive line, DeJuan Jones was the highest graded rookie tackle in the NFL in week 12. So that's awesome. Jerron Christian, on the other hand, did not play very well. James Hudson did not play very well when he was in. They did the rotation again, like they did in the Steelers game, where DeJuan Jones played some snaps and James Hudson played some snaps. Though James Hudson was called for a awful false start. It was horrendous. He just he was practically in the quarterback's lap before the ball was even snapped. It was crazy. But after that, I don't think he went back into the game. So hopefully DeJuan Jones will play all snaps next week or this week, this Sunday, whenever, Sunday. We'll see. And hopefully Jerron Christian plays a little bit better against the Rams than he did against the Broncos, because it was not great. He did play fairly well against the Steelers, so I will give him props there. But not so great against the Broncos. So we shall see what happens, because Jedrick Wills will not be back. His 4 weeks are not up. So on to some college football and more heartbreak. It was a weekend of heartbreaks, with the exception of the Crew. Anywho, Ohio State's Marvin Harrison Jr. is a semifinalist for the Walter Camp Award, and it has also been named a finalist for the Biletnikoff Award. Tommy Eichenberg was awarded the Butkus Fitzgerald Linebacker of the Year Award, and the All Big Ten defensive teams have been released, and Ohio State has 3 on the first team: Tommy Eichenberg, JT Tuimalahu, JTT. We'll just go with JTT, because I can't say that last name. And Denzel Burke. Second team, Jack Sawyer, Tyleek Williams, and Jaden Fielding, who is the place kicker. Third team, Steel Chambers, Josh Proctor, and Michael Hall Jr. And honorable mentions go to Davison Igbinosun, Latham Ransom, Sonny Styles, and Ty Hamilton. I have a feeling if Ransom hadn't been hurt for a good portion of the season, he would probably be a little bit higher. But he did miss a couple of games at least. It might have been more than that. It might have been about half the season. He was out for a few games. But anywho. So, Ohio State played that team up north on Saturday. And Devin Brown, Tommy Eichenberg, and Michael Hall Jr. returned from injury. Michigan scored first after McCord threw an INT inside their own 20. So it's 7-0. Then Jay Fielding hit a 43-yard field goal, and it was 7-3, 7-3 at the end of the first quarter. Michigan scored another touchdown, although it was somewhat questionable. Ohio State's DB came up with the ball at the end of the play, and the announcers debated and debated and debated, and they even called in a replay specialist to discuss, and he also debated. Based on the replay specialist comments, he said, based on the call on the field, it was ruled a touchdown. He didn't think there was enough to overturn it. However, in his opinion, based on how things progressed, he does not feel that the receiver had possession long enough to count it as a completed catch before Ohio State's DB ripped the ball away. So, unfortunately, the call did not go in our favor. It was reviewed and the call stood. So, 14-3, Michigan. Then McCord threw a touchdown pass to Igbuka, bringing the score to 14-10. Jay Fielding attempted a 53-yard field goal before the half. That was no good. So it was 14-10 at the half. Michigan then hit a 50-yard field goal to bring the score to 17-10. Then Trey Henderson had a touchdown run, tying it up at 17. Michigan scored another touchdown, 24-17. Then Michigan hit a 38-yard field goal to bring it to 27-17. Then McCord finally hit Marvin Harrison for a touchdown, bringing the score to 27-24. Michigan hit another field goal, 30-24. At this point, there was 1:05 left in the game, and Ohio State had no timeouts. So they attempted to march down the field and score. However, McCord was hit as he threw, and Michigan intercepted, ending the game 30-24. Ryan Day has now lost the last 3 games against Michigan, so we will see if he remains the coach for Ohio State. Though he does great against unranked teams, seems to have an issue against ranked teams. So, we'll see. We will see what happens there. I don't know that I have an opinion on this. I haven't decided yet. I'm not over the loss yet. So I will contemplate that over the next week. And I'll let you know what I decide next week. Mount Union's QB Braxton Plunk is a semifinalist for the Gagliardi Trophy. And in another upset, Mount Union lost to Alma in the playoffs. So they are now done for the season, and they lost 24-20. Sigh. Youngstown State played Duquesne and won 40-7. They will play again on Saturday against Villanova. Kent State played Northern Illinois and won, they did not win because Kent State doesn't win. They lost 37-27, and their season is now over. Akron played Ohio University and lost, surprise, surprise, 25-14, and their season is now over. Thank God. Miami of Ohio played Ball State and won 17-15. Their next game is Saturday against number 23, Toledo. So good luck to both Miami of Ohio and Youngstown State as they proceed in the playoffs in their respective divisions. So the Crew played on Saturday in their next playoff game, and they were at Orlando FC. At the end of regular time, the score was 0-0. So into extra time it went. And Christian Ramirez scored a goal, and then Cucho Hernandez scored a goal, and the Crew won it at the end of extra time 2-0. And they will move on to the Eastern Conference Finals in Cincinnati, where they will take on FC Cincinnati for the Eastern Conference title. Cucho Hernandez was named to the MLS Best 11 2023 team. So congratulations to him. Well deserved, as anytime I've talked about the Crew, I'm sure I have mentioned him because he has scored a goal in just about every match. Just about every match. There was maybe one, maybe two, that he did not score a goal in. He is quite amazing. So hopefully he will be back with the Crew next season. We shall see what happens with that, but good luck. Good luck to the Crew on Saturday. And that is going to wrap things up for all things football and football. So I am going to take a short break. Then I will be back to talk basketball on the Show of the Land with Jen B on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Are you a fan of Buffalo sports? Are you thinking of changing loyalties and becoming a Buffalo sports fan? Do you even know where Buffalo is on the map? Did you know Canada is closer to Buffalo than New York City? Welcome to the Buffalo Huddle, every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Patty Bax. This is a podcast designed for you, the passionate sports fan. I know you love your sports. Who doesn't? I cover Buffalo sports and so much more by bringing in the human elements. I call it Buffalo Sports with a Twist. Join me as we take a journey into the world of Buffalo sports. I guarantee you'll fall in love with Buffalo just like I did. Each week we start with an inspiration, question of the day, a Buffalo fun fact, and our weekly challenge to you, the listener. Come huddle up with me every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time for the Buffalo Huddle with Patty Bax on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. As we say in Buffalo, go Bills!
What's up, everybody? This is Darren Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunderous Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
It's IE Sports Radio. It is your direct feed for all that is sports. It is Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris every Tuesday night right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris is the most comprehensive view on Philadelphia sports exclusively right here on IE Sports Radio. You know what it is, your direct feed for all that is sports. Tuesday night, IE Sports Radio, Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris.
You're back live with Jen B on the Show of the Land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And shout out to Marcus Losgreat in the chat. He is the host of our Gloves Off show for everything fighting. And also, Larry B in the chat says, Dog Pound. They're kind of the puppy pound right now, but yes, Dog Pound. Woo, woo. Larry B is our leader and the host of our 3 and Out shows. 3 and Out College Edition with Taryn Rodriguez and the 3 and Out show that covers all the NFL stuff. So be sure to check those out. He also co-hosts the Sports Couples Perspectives with his wife, Cecilia B. And that is a great show to check out as well. It's very interesting hearing the back and forth between Larry and Cecilia. So be sure to check that out. Taryn says the Browns equal the dog hospital. Yeah, pretty much. They should just attach University Hospital to Browns Stadium. Oh, what a season. Somebody posted on Twitter today to describe your X, to describe your NFL team in 5 words. And I said, I only need 3. Decimated but resilient. I don't know how else to describe it. But anyway, before I get into basketball, just announced Cade Stover of the Ohio State Buckeyes is a finalist for the John Mackey Award. So congratulations to him, and hopefully he will win that. Our Cleveland Browns, Harrison Bryant, actually won that award when he was in college. So hopefully it bodes better for Cade, because I can't stand Harrison Bryant. I can't wait till he's gone. Oh my gosh. But anywho, on to the Cavs. So Tuesday, the Cavs took on the 76ers, and it was an in-season tournament game. Karis LeVert, Donovan Mitchell, Isaac Okoro, and Ty Jerome were all out. The Cavs are going to join the Browns in the dog hospital. Anyway, the starting 5 were Darius Garland, Max Strus, Dean Wade, Evan Mobley, and Jarrett Allen. They were up 27-24 at the end of the first quarter, up 65-53 at the half, up 88-79 at the end of 3, and at the end of the game it was a 110 tie. So to OT it went. And the Cavs managed to pull it out, winning 122-119. During the game, Tristan Thompson recorded his 451st block to take sole possession of 5th place in team history in blocks. Darius Garland led the team with 32 points. For a second, I thought I wrote 52, and I was like, no, he did not have 52 points. But then I realized it was a 3. Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen both recorded double-doubles. Evan Mobley had 10 points and 12 rebounds, and Jarrett Allen had 26 points and 13 rebounds. Wednesday, they played the Miami Heat in a back-to-back, traveling back from Philadelphia, so I was not expecting much from this game. And Donovan Mitchell, Isaac Okoro, Ty Jerome, and newly added to the injury list, Dean Wade with a sprained ankle were out. These starting 5 were Darius Garland, Craig Porter Jr. with his first NBA start, Max Strus, Evan Mobley, and Jarrett Allen. Craig Porter Jr. hit his first NBA three-pointer. At the end of 1, they were down 37-26. The half, they were down 69-55, and then I decided to watch something else. But anyway, they lost 129-96. Ugh, yikes. Karis LeVert ended up being ejected for motioning to a ref to open their eyes. Evan Mobley had a double-double with 13 points and 10 rebounds, and that is all she wrote for that game. Saturday, they played the Lakers. Ty Jerome and Dean Wade were out. The starting five were Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Max Strus, Evan Mobley, and Jarrett Allen. At the end of one, they were up 40-35. At the half, they were up 71-70. Jarrett Allen got a double-double in the first half. Darius Garland was out for the second half with a neck strain, and they ended up losing 21. We're playing football now. The Cavs are playing football, y'all. 121-115. Sunday, they played the Toronto Raptors, and thankfully, they made it a better day than the Browns did. Dean Wade and Ty Jerome were out, starting five as usual. Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Max Strus, Evan Mobley, and Jarrett Allen. They were down 28-25 at the end of the first, down 52-42 at the half, up 74-72 at the end of three. Max Strus lit it up in the third quarter, scoring 20 points in that quarter. And they ended up winning 105-102. Max Strus and Evan Mobley both recorded double-doubles. Max Strus with 20 points and 11 rebounds. Evan Mobley with 12 points and 14 rebounds. And Darius Garland led with 24 points. Upcoming games are tonight against the Atlanta Hawks. Their last game in the first round of the in-season tournament, and they have to win, and then they need a lot of other things to happen to move on. So they showed it during the game on Sunday, what has to happen, and it's like 5 other teams have to lose or something ridiculous, and they have to score X number of points more than somebody or something. It's like insane trying to figure out how they move on. So I'm just gonna wait until the game is over and find out if they move on or not. It's much easier that way. Thursday, they will play the Portland Trail Blazers in Cleveland, and then Saturday they will be in Detroit to play the Pistons. The Cleveland Charge had an up and down week. They are, of course, without Craig Porter Jr. because he is with the Cavs. So Friday, they played the Motor City Cruise and lost 101-92. Moni Bates led with 29 points, and Aleem Ford recorded a double-double with 11 points and 13 rebounds. Last night, they played the Grand Rapids Gold, and they were up 50-42 at the half and won 102-92. Sharif Cooper led with 26 points, and that's all they did this week. Their next games are Wednesday against the Grand Rapids Gold and Friday against the Sioux Falls Skyforce. On to some college basketball. Cleveland State's Tristan, and I don't know if I'm saying this right, but I'm going to take a guess, Enaruna was named Horizon League Player of the Week. Cleveland State played at East Tennessee and won 72-70, and then they played Alabama A&M and won 86-59. They will play again Wednesday at Youngstown State and Saturday against Detroit Mercy. Ohio State upset number 23 Alabama with a 92-81 win. And then they played Santa Clara and won 86-56. Their next games are Wednesday against Central Michigan and Sunday against Minnesota. Akron played Drake. They were actually playing last Tuesday during my podcast, and they were losing. And guess what? They lost. What? Akron lost? Crazy. 79-59. Their next game is today at UNLV. Kent State played Charleston and lost 84-78. Their next game is Thursday against Shawnee State. Mount Union played Worcester and won 75-51. And their next game is Saturday against Wilmington. Youngstown State played Dayton and won 77-69, and they will play Cleveland State tomorrow, and Saturday they are at Robert Morris. That is going to wrap things up for basketball. So I am going to take another short break, and then I will be back to talk hockey, and baseball. Baseball. It's so weird talking about baseball in the winter. Anyway, I'll be back on the show of the land with Jen B. right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Davidson.
It's your boy, Dentarius Lava.
And we are the hosts of Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio, where we discuss everything in the world of basketball from prep to the pros.
You guys should definitely check us out, man. Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We got all the basketball information you guys need, so we look forward to you guys listening in.
And please do, because we are the best basketball show on this side of the Mississippi. And please do check us out on Twitter at FastBreakISR. D-Lock, where's our time again?
8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That gives you guys plenty of time on a Sunday.
Tune in.
What's good, fight fans? It's your boy, Marcus Los Great, here to give you what you want, here to give you what you need. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm coming to you live, straight from your mama's basement with a crispy, awesome white tea. They are coming to you live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's good, everyone? It's Drewski, the host of Heart of Texas Sports on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. On this station, we cover everything in the Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas area. From where we cover the Dallas Cowboys, the Dallas Stars, Dallas Mavericks, Dallas Wings, Texas Rangers, TCU, SMU, we cover it all right here every Wednesdays from 9 to 10 p.m. Central Time. Make sure you stay live with me on the Heart of Texas Sports on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey sports fans, do you like wine? Well, we've got the show for you. This is Let's Wine About Sports, a show where we talk about wine and sports simultaneously. From the classic Cabernet Sauvignon all the way down to the grapes that you've never even heard of before. Oh yeah, we cover it all. And we'll talk about a little bit of sports as well. Football, hockey, collegiate, women's sports, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to whine about it all. So join me Monday at 8 p.m. on IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
You're back live with Jen B on the Show of the Lane on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. So let's talk some hockey. We'll start with the Columbus Blue Jackets. On Wednesday, in an Oprah Winfrey kind of game, the Blue Jackets played the Chicago Blackhawks, and it was a you get a goal, you get a goal, you get a goal kind of game. Boone Jenner scored the first goal, Goodbranson scored the second goal, and Boone Jenner scored the third goal on a power play, and at the end of one, it was 3-1. Marchenko, Patrick Laine, Cole Sillinger, and Dmitry Voronkov scored goals in the second period. And the Blue Jackets were up 7-1 at the end of 2. They ended up winning 7-3. Johnny Gaudreau recorded his 100th game with the Columbus Blue Jackets. It was Cole Sillinger recorded his first goal of the season, and Zach Werenski set a Columbus Blue Jackets record with 4 assists, the most by a defenseman. Friday, they played the New Jersey Devils in New Jersey. Boone Jenner scored the first goal. Then New Jersey tied it up. Then Eric Robinson scored a goal, and the crew was the Blue Jackets were up 2-1, and that was Eric Robinson's first goal and first point of the season, which makes sense because he was just recalled from the Cleveland Monsters a couple weeks ago. At the end of the first period, they were up 2-1. At the end of the second period, they were still up 2-1, and they ended up winning 2-1. Elvis Merzlikins recorded 40 saves. On a Sunday, the Blue Jackets played the Carolina Hurricanes and lost 3-2. Kirill Marchenko and Johnny Gaudreau recorded the 2 goals. Last night, the Blue Jackets played the Boston Bruins in Columbus, and Dmitry Voronkov recorded the first goal, and the Blue Jackets were up 1-0 at the end of one in the second period. Provorov, Chinnikov, and Marchenko. Oh, no. Take that back. Just those two scored goals in the second period. And the Blue Jackets were up 3-0 at the end of one. Marchenko recorded a goal in the third period on a power play. That was 5-on-3 because the Bruins were just getting penalties like crazy. And that brought the score to 4-0. Then the Bruins got a goal, and it was 4-1. And then Justin Danforth scored a goal on an empty net, bringing the score to 5-1. The Bruins got one back, and the final was 5-2. The Blue Jackets are the only team with 2 rookies with 10-plus points this season, and those are Adam Fantilli and Dmitry Voronkov. And this was the first time in NHL history that 4 Russians on the same team scored goals in the same game. The Columbus Dispatch today is reporting that Chinnikov may be requesting a trade. However, his agent says that is not the case. So we'll see what happens with that. The Blue Jackets' next games are tomorrow against the Canadiens, Friday against the Senators, and Sunday in Boston against the Bruins again. So, on to the Cleveland Monsters. On Wednesday, they played the Charlotte Checkers. Emil Bemstrom scored an empty net goal. Carson Meyer scored a goal. And I'm confusing myself with my notes. Sorry. What is happening? Sorry, my computer is being weird. Anywho, Bemstrom and Kent Johnson also scored goals later in the game. And they ended up winning 5-2. Friday, they played the Toronto Marlies and won 2-1 in a shootout. Trey Fix-Wolanski and Kent Johnson both had goals. Sunday, they played the Toronto Marlies again and won 4-3 in overtime. Carson Meyer, Kent Johnson, and Emil Bemstrom all recorded goals. Bemstrom had 2, including the game winner in overtime. Bemstrom was named AHL Player of the Week. And the Monsters' next games are Saturday against the Utica Comets and Sunday also against the Utica Comets. So fun. They're playing the same team twice. That happens a lot in the AHL, I've seen. So the Guardians made a couple of coaching changes this week. They have hired Ruglis Oder to be the infield coach, and he will also be the third base coach. Brad Goldberg will be the bullpen coach, and both Ruglis and Brad are from the Akron Rubber Ducks. They also hired Kai Correa to be the Major League Field Coordinator. He was with the San Francisco Giants. They retained Sandy Alomar and Carl Willis. Sandy Alomar will continue to be the first base coach, and Carl Willis is the pitching coach. Craig Albernez has been named the bench coach. He was hired last week or the week before. And there is currently a rumor that the Cubs and Reds are in trade talks with the Guardians for Shane Bieber. There have been rumors since Shane Bieber went on the IR during the season that right up to until the trade deadline, that is, that he was on the trade block. It didn't happen, obviously, before the trade deadline, but the rumors are swirling again. So we shall see what happens with that. From what I understand, the Guardians coaching staff is pretty much filled out now. The only thing they are still looking for is a replay coordinator. So, kind of important. So we'll see what happens with that. But as of right now, that is the only position still open. There weren't any other roster changes that I have seen this week. But that is where things stand. So, let's hope for a Browns win in LA on Sunday. Sorry, Taryn. And a Crew win in Cincinnati on Saturday. And then hopefully the Cavs can do whatever the heck it is that they need to do to continue on in the in-season tournament tonight against the Hawks. I have no idea what they need to do, but I did read a tweet, whatever the heck you call them, on X, that JB Bickerstaff has a number in mind of how many points they need to get tonight, plus the win, in order to continue on. So he won't say what that number is, so we shall see. And Taryn says he's not a Rams fan, only Chargers. So, all right, cool. Go Browns. I was rooting for the Chargers on Sunday. Or Monday, whenever it was. Sunday night. By the way, Taryn. And they disappointed me. I really needed them Ravens to lose. But, oh well. It is what it is. Hopefully the Browns can get a couple more wins. They only need 3 more, most likely, to make the playoffs. So hopefully, fingers crossed. Have no idea who our quarterback's going to be on Sunday, but go whoever it is. Go QB. And hopefully Myles Garrett, Amari Cooper can play. Jordan Elliott, not as big of a deal because we do have other defensive tackles, but you know, Amari Cooper is the best wide receiver on the team. And, you know, Myles Garrett is the best defensive player anywhere. So, definitely the best defensive player on the Browns. So, hopefully they can both play. Hopefully Denzel Ward and Anthony Walker are back. And the defense will look more together. But we will see. We will see. And wish DTR quick recovery from his concussion. But that's going to be about it. But before I go, let's talk some Planet Jerky. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Planet Jerky. They have 100% premium beef brisket jerky in 7 flavors. And you can check them out at planetjerky.net. Free shipping on orders over $50. Some great Christmas gifts right there. So be sure to check them out. And you can also follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. So get on it. Get yourself or some family members or some friends or whatever. Some beef jerky. It's the jerky that's on a whole other planet. That is going to be all for tonight. Thank you all for joining me, Jen B, on the Show of the Land. And be sure to follow me on X, Instagram, and Threads at Believe Land Girl. and on TikTok at Jen, Jenn, .believeland. You can also follow the show for daily updates on Cleveland and Columbus sports news on X at Show of the Land IE. Next up is the Buffalo Huddle with Patty Bass, with all that is Buffalo sports. Be sure to catch me next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern on the Show of the Land for more on Cleveland and Columbus sports, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Have a great night, Ohio.